everyone, how are you? It's JG here with Earth 5D University. How are you today? Welcome to my channel. Some of you guys might know me from my tarot channel, Earth 5D. At Earth 5D University, we're focusing on building consciousness, growing consciousness, changing your life, and making that shift. So everyone's going crazy, right? With the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn right now. Not to mention, in a few days, on the 21st, right, tomorrow actually, is going to be the winter solstice. And then we had the 12-12 gateway. And there's just a tremendous amount of energy flying around that we can harness, okay? So this is a time of ascension, and I think everyone's beginning to feel this, right? So we're gonna talk today about how you can jump on the train of the ascension train, right? How do you ride this wave, literally, of high frequency that's available to us? How do you change your life? How do you make that shift? How do you change your timeline, right? To be in that frequency of ascension. Okay, it's been talked about, what, thousands of years, right? And longer than that, tens of thousands of years. And I'm not going to get into the science behind it. There is much science behind it. But I want to help teach you today things you can do to ensure that you are riding that new wave of energy, that you are joining the rest of the world on Earth in the ascension process. Where to begin? I think the biggest thing that you guys need to understand, and that I'm working on with my clients and inside of myself, is to understand that our attention and what we focus on, our thoughts, are what really create reality. And so it sounds really maybe trivial. Oh, our thoughts create reality. But if you actually think about the thoughts that you carry on a daily basis, think about the thoughts that you carry on a daily basis. Think of the quality of them. Because if you're anything like me, you got stuff going on there, right? You've got thoughts that are like repeating themselves. And if you focus on those, that is what you're going to see in your reality. So I don't want you to torture yourself with your own thoughts. It's a thing. You can absolutely torture yourself with your own thoughts, right? And we do that. And then we look around us and we get really pissed off at the world around us. And we say, how can this be happening? How is this person doing this to me? And it's that victim mentality that really sticks you. And then you become stuck in the matrix and you can't ascend. You can't ascend from that place of victimizer energy. And so when you're a victim of life, you look around you and everything seems messed up, right? Very little things seem to work out because you're always under the gun of someone screwing you over. The government, the girl, the family, the friends, like someone's always around that corner that's gonna like gun for you, right? To screw up your life or to screw you over. And it's that victim mentality that's the first thing we have to confront. So if you want to jump on the wave of ascension and live your life from the highest frequency, which is joy, beauty, expansion, I mean it, like it's so real, okay? It's so real. The love, the peace, just having it daily, just enjoying life and like just really sinking into life and just really loving life. That is not a fairy tale. That is not SHIT. This is real. And so if you can begin to peel yourself out of that victim mentality, then that's the first place to start. Now, I want to get into why we have a victim mentality, because it's a very logical reason. Very, very logical. So what happens is when we're born here, we are born, I'm going to get my handy board out, and when we're born here, we're like this beautiful soul, right? And a lot of times as a child on the earth, let's be honest, a child on the earth, you're born into a place where there's killing, there's starvation. Humans are killing other humans, humans are raping other humans, humans are stealing from other humans, and you're born into that frequency. Your parents might not have done that to you. Some of you, your parents did do that to you, or relatives, really treated you poorly. And so even if you didn't get treated poorly, you're still connected in a confluence of energy. We are all connected in this divine kind of fibrous energy field that we all kind of are collectively part of. We call it the collective consciousness on earth. It's beyond that, but we actually absolutely feel the energy of everything going on here. And that's why you can be having such a great day, like everything's going great in your life, and you can be attracted or attracting some kind of negative frequency on accident, you know, and that's why we want to keep our vibration high. Keeping your vibration high isn't some kind of like trendy thing. Keeping your vibration high is to keep you safe, to keep you out of harm's way so that you're harnessing your power for this shift in consciousness. So we're talking about changing your timeline. We're talking about shifting, ascending in consciousness. So when you connect as a little being, a tiny little baby, and you start inhabiting your body more. So it's my belief that when you come as a baby, you're just starting, your soul's just starting to inhabit your body a little bit more and a little bit more. And more advanced souls now that are being born, they come right in and they're like really awake usually. It depends on the person. So once your soul is completely, your consciousness is completely in your little baby body, you know, your tiny boss baby body, you are connected now to the frequency of creation. And to some of us who were born like within the last, 50 years, say, or 60 years, this has been very difficult because there's been a lot of dark frequency that's been coming to a head like a volcano, right? And this dark frequency has been erupting behind the scenes. And so if something bad happened to you, or you witness bad things happening to you, what it does is it creates this pain body inside of you, inside of you have many energy bodies inside of you, your spiritual, your mental, your physical, your emotional. And inside of those bodies that kind of fan out, when you look at them spiritually, they kind of fan out like a Swiss Army knife, right? All of your energy bodies kind of fan out, and then they go back and lay on top of you. When they fan out, you can see that you have this emotional body and spiritual body, mental, physical, and more etheric. And in that, okay, when something traumatic, abusive that you see or witness as a human happens to you, or let's say you're just extremely empathetic and you connect to the energy around you, and maybe there is like rape, maybe there's killing around you if you're in a big city, and you're absorbing that as an innocent creature. And what happens is it sits in your soul as a human being on earth. And it's this pain. And if it's not dealt with, it's always kind of there, attracting more trauma to it, because like attracts like. So if you have like a hidden pain body there that you haven't dealt with, you haven't kind of acknowledged, then it's there kind of irritating you. It's making you feel like a victim of life. And so what happens to compound the effery on earth, to compound the BS that happens on earth, is that we go to a psychologist or a therapist and we're encouraged to regurgitate the pain and speak about it over and over again. Meanwhile, making that grow, right? The more you talk about it, so what you resist persists, and also what you focus on grows. So it's like a double whammy. You see, this pain body is so big that everything you do feels like you're a victim of life, and it just screws you over. And so this is why our advanced gifts are so important, is that like when someone comes to a session with me, what we're doing is we're healing their pain body. We're acknowledging the sadness or the pain there, and then we're releasing it. It's not meant to be like regurgitated. And the reason, this is personal experience. Like I've spent, many years in therapy trying to do it the traditional way. That was the way I was raised. I was raised in the Midwest, in a Chicago suburb where you just, you did the traditional thing. There was no alternative medicine at the time when I was growing up. There was no alternative treatment. So, so even though I had all these spiritual gifts, the pain body was so big. And so I had to find my own ways to heal it. I had to learn my own way to process that, right? And to work through it. And that's basically what I teach everyone, that comes to me. And that's what I teach on this channel. And so the first thing to do is understand that you might have this pain body, and certainly you do if you feel like a victim, meaning that because you can't see beyond this. This becomes your filter of reality. Imagine this is you here. Let's turn this into a face. You can't see past that. So everything out there seems like totally effed, right? So you can't see past that pain. You become too clouded, and then everything outside of you is just constantly seeking to screw you over. And this is like very, very subconscious, right? Because we've developed many, many mechanisms. But if you are attracting things and you're feeling unsafe in the world, and you're attracting things that are hurting you, then this is likely what's happening, is that you can't see past that pain body. That pain body's grown too big. And so, okay, all right, so that's a thing. So I don't want to even focus on that too much, but it's out there. So what you want to do then, if you notice that you have trauma, okay, you just want to acknowledge the trauma. Hi, trauma. This happened to me. The sexual abuse, the trauma from the emotional abuse, this happened to me, and I'm ready to let you go. I'm ready to seek a different way of seeing life. And this creates a new timeline. So the remedy is the experience. It's a line by Jason Mraz. The remedy is the experience. It's a song called The Remedy. It's about a friend of his who got cancer. And he just realized that going through that experience is what healed him. So going through this experience and acknowledging that you have the pain is how you're going to get healthy. Now, repeating that pain over and over in your memories and focusing on it over and over again is it's a trick that the Matrix plays on you. It's a trick that just keeps you focused on that pain over and over. So your greatest gift is you are a creator. So if you're focusing on something external of you and you're just hammering your vision on that and focusing your vision on it, you'll just continue to create it. And then that ascension timeline is going to be longer. It's going to take longer. Okay? So the big thing right now is to unwind the victim mentality that you might be carrying. So you might say, okay, cool, I think I can work with this energy, right? And there's helpers out there, right? There's light workers out there. There's all sorts of people who are using alternative ways to heal and help release this. And I can link some down below. There's a beautiful healer. His name is Dr. Eric Pearl, and he teaches a lot of people how to do the reconnective healing. And that's tremendous. It's just pulling in higher, unlike Reiki, it's pulling in a higher frequency from your light family. So it's coming from a different place. And it just it works within your DNA, and it just blasts these patterns out of your DNA. And this is what I also work with, something similar. I have my own mixture of things because I've been doing this work for almost 20 years. So I have spiritual response therapy, I have reconnective, I have Daning Gary's the access consciousness healing. So it's kind of like I've got my own thing layered together to just really unstick people out of this pain body. But this is what we're doing. We're prying out your pain body, picking it up, and we're basically acknowledging it and releasing it. Okay, so that's the first part, I believe, guys, is getting out of that victim mentality. So whereas you can look around the world and be like, hey, this is a kind of a nice place to be. And even though there's a bunch of stuff going on in the world that's pretty freaky, I mean, everyone's feeling this. Things are changing, right? The shifting is happening. And so in order to get ahead of it, right, in order to make that jump in consciousness, make that leap, this is what we're working on. Okay, we're observing, we're not judging ourselves. We're not punishing ourselves. We're not blaming ourselves. And even we're not blaming the other people. We're not, because why? Because it doesn't help you. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't make them more regretful. It doesn't make them more accountable, and it doesn't help you at all. So no judgment, no blame. Okay, guys? So this is a big piece of it. The next piece that I want to talk about is something that most people I don't think talk about, and it's very basic, but the one thing that I believe will really get you out of this predicament of being stuck in a lower frequency, if you are feeling stuck in a lower frequency, is to be able to face your fears as a human being, and facing those fears and getting to the other side of them. So this is something, like I have some members in my family and they say, you know how there's that saying, no pain, no gain? I have some members in my family and they say, no pain, no pain, you know? Why go there? Why go into fear, right? Why can't I just live in my comfy little place right here and damn that world out here? Like, screw that world. I'm coming just inside of myself, right? But we're meant to, in this day and age, to commune and to be part of the world, and not only be part of people who are healing and getting better, but also the Mother Nature and the earth, and interacting with the earth, and not just sitting behind our computers and, you know, theorizing, but actually like getting out and doing, like testing yourself and facing some of your fears and moving beyond them. So let me give you an example. So since I've been very little, I had an older brother who's 1 year older, and he was just very physical with me. So I grew up being very physical, meaning playing football, you know, getting the wind knocked out of me, playing baseball, getting hit, you know, with the ball. And it was just part of my life experience. And as a result, something inside of me was always pushing myself. So I'm the type of person that, you know, does the Class 5 Whitewater Rapids. I zip-lined across the Costa Rican jungle with my little tiny son in front of me so I could be behind him in case something happened. I mean, he was 7, he was able to do it. But so taking risks, surfing, you know, going snowboarding, riding a motorcycle, like a Triumph Speed Triple, like a really powerful motorcycle. And I didn't do this to be cool. I did it because each time I approached the challenge, I was scared to death. Like when I got on that motorcycle, I was scared and I just pushed through it. I was terrified. When I got to the top of the mountain and it was my first time to take the chairlift up on my snowboard, I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to get off a lift with a snowboard stuck to my foot. You know, so I fell, obviously. And so there's all these physical challenges that I've done. And part of it, doing that and like getting on the surfboard and getting pummeled by the surf, you know, and connecting with nature that way. I'm not saying this stuff to show you that I'm cool. It's just because I knew I had to do these things to feel strong and not be afraid of fear, right? The only thing you have to fear is fear itself. So when you allow yourself to walk into a situation where you're afraid and you get to the other side of it, you feel powerful. You know, you feel, because you're like, damn, I did it. You know, I did it. I did it. And so some things are scarier than others, but I challenge you and I ask you today to feel more human by connecting to your humanity. You know, we are part of the world around us, you know, and it's not just like going for a leisurely bike ride, although that would be great too. So maybe something that would be fearful for you is thinking about, okay, I live in a part of the world where I'm very restricted right now, right? Because of the situation we're dealing with globally. How can I get out of my comfort zone, face my fears, and do something about that to change my reality, right? Every time I've done something, I mean, I'm talking so afraid that I feel like I'm gonna, like, you know what, myself, right? Like very afraid, but I just do it anyway. Just do it anyway. And you'll be surprised how powerful you are as a human being. And so there's other ways to do this too. You could do this by just testing yourself emotionally, by taking risks in a relationship that are calculated, right? You could do this by testing your intellect and studying things that you never thought you could learn or understand. But there's something really powerful about interacting with Mother Nature that literally forces you to face your fears and get beyond them. So some of you know that I've been working with a personal trainer, and he's getting me back into the athleticism that I like, love and enjoy. You know, I used to be a long distance runner, and I'm getting back to that. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is because there's something very important about inhabiting your body and being cool with your body, because when you're cool with your body, you feel powerful, you know? And I believe that there's forces out there that would like us to disconnect from our body. But if you just make that your goal, like one thing, one way you could do something to challenge yourself, to do something differently. I'm not saying about going out there and becoming an athlete, but, you know, do something different, to own yourself, to own your physical being. Because like I said earlier, you have all these bodies that energy inhabits that, fills our soul, fills it, and then the energy on the planet fills it, right? And so you want to constantly work at getting out of your pain body. But have an eraser, out of your pain body. By acknowledging it. Hello, pain body, yes. I know you're telling me that the world's very scary. And I know that there's evidence of that, yes, because I believe that the world was scary ever since I was a tiny baby, right? I've known that the world was scary ever since I was a tiny baby, but I want to do something different. So the whole goal here is, here's your beautiful self, and you just want to, maybe we'll draw you as a girl. Maybe we want you, instead of focusing on all the painful stuff, just to think about you and your power. Think about your heart space. Think about what you're capable of. What are you capable of, right? Think about that. So if your pain body is trying to distract you by saying you're a victim, you have to kind of refocus yourself back to yourself and think about the ways that you are powerful. So there's a lot of ways that are going to be happening around you that you can do it. The Wim Hof breathing technique is really cool, because you basically feel like you're suffocating, but you don't, you know? And so, or you get in a tub of cold ice water, right? And you're like, I'm gonna die, but you don't die, right? You're accessing different parts of yourself. And there's something so important about this, because in the exercise world, I just noticed there's this trend, it's called like dead butt. Like your butt, our glutes are like kind of they're very underworked. So our butts have been dead from like sitting on a chair for so long, right? And not doing stuff. So it's like we have to wake ourselves up. And sometimes, like when I start my workout in the morning, I'm like, come on, body. And I'm like, let's get going, you know, because my body's like, no, right? And so it's just like standing in your power, so you can get out and like take those goggles off and go outside and feel powerful and alive. You know, it's like the movie WALL-E. If you haven't seen that movie, it's a kids Disney, I think it's Pixar. You have to watch it. It's about all these people who basically we destroy the earth in the scenario of the story, and everyone who lived, they recolonized, but they didn't recolonize the planet. They're on a spaceship, and they become so dependent on the robots of that ship that they just never leave their chairs, and they're chubby little, they don't know how to walk, and all they do is look at a computer screen and drink their smoothies, and they don't even know where they are anymore. Their consciousness, they have no idea where they are anymore. So there's a whole wild world out there. I'm not saying you have to go climb a mountain, but there's a lot of things you can do to really test yourself and see how powerful you really are as a human. Because when you can look at your fears and pass through them, you are going to take your life back and be more powerful and do that ascension. Okay? So this is a different way of being spiritual. It's not just about sitting and meditating, Buddha on the mountain, I'm so wise, right? Okay, cool. But it's more like a Jedi. It's more like we have to engage not only our minds, but we have to, in our intellect, all of that, our ability to focus, Remember, it's your ability and what you focus on that creates. So it's intentional creation. It's deliberate creation, focusing on what you want. And if there's that hidden pain body in there, which is when Luke and everyone goes, they have to see their dark side, they have to see their fears and confront them before they get super strong, right, in each movie. Once you can see that you have that, then okay, you can remedy it because it's just the experience. All right, guys, I hope this has assisted you. It's a pleasure that you're here. I'm so grateful for you. And if you like this video, make sure you like and comment and subscribe. Hit the bell notification so you can find out when I'm posting. It's every Sunday, but it's definitely at different times. So if you need help with this process and you're tired of your pain body like haunting you and making you feel like a victim, etc., and making you scared of life, scared of yourself, scared of other people, you know, or angry at the world, etc., then let me know. You can visit my website, earth-5d.com. Got a lot of stuff going on there. All right, lots of love to you, and I hope you have a beautiful day or night. Bye, guys.